Episode 30 of Sure Babe, and this is your host, Chrissy Powers. Thank you guys so much for being here. And I just wanted to start off and say thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, rating, and reviewing our podcast. It has helped us so much, and this is seriously a place that we love. Sam and I love recording together, and we love helping you guys out in any way that we can, because we realize being married is hard. Being married with small kids is even harder. So if we can just add any sort of hope to the phase that you're in, that is what we're called to do and what we want to do. So thank you guys for being here and for supporting us. We've heard your cries for more couples episodes, so we made it happen today. We're super excited to talk to you guys about what's really going on in our life. We get very real and raw about how we spent the last week pretty much disconnected from each other. We both triggered each other's wounds, and we were in pretty much an argument all week. So we talked about in this episode how we use the Enneagram to connect again and to realize like what was happening inside of both of us. And yeah, it's super real, raw, and I hope you guys get a lot out of it. So without further ado, here you go. Hello, this is Sam and Chrissy Powers back together again. Not that we ever parted.
Thank you, honey. That's a fantastic intro for all of us.
We can't talk too loud because the baby's sleeping in the other room.
Yes.
And we found a hot minute to record this episode, which we've been wanting to produce a lot more episodes together, but we figured it out that we have to hire a babysitter in order to do so, because Sam works full time and
Chrissy works full time. We have 3 children, and for any of you parents out there, you understand that your day can just run away.
They do.
Literally run away.
Just run away.
Especially between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. It seems like nothing.
But we just wanted to give an update on life and maybe somehow encourage you guys in your relationships. And it's Sunday. I'm super excited to watch Game of Thrones. Did you notice that our marriage is better when Game of Thrones is on?
Yes.
Because we actually like to sit and watch it together.
Yes.
And then we have something in common.
Yes.
Other than our children.
Yes. Which I agree. Yes, it's
really great. I really like connecting with you, and I look forward to Sunday nights.
And maybe this for all of you parents out there. I think what happens is once you've watched enough cartoons and your TV is dominated by Netflix and cartoon shows and stuff like that, it's refreshing to watch something that might have a cuss word in. And
we make it happen.
We do.
I realized other shows you won't sit down and watch with me because you're no, I'm too tired, I'm going to bed. But Game of Thrones, we make it happen. It's like a date.
It is it's a GOT date. Got date. Because of Game of Thrones.
Date. Although you did fall asleep last week.
I'm so sorry. Gee whiz. It was an hour and a half long.
I was committed. I was not stopping. That episode was so good. So that's not really what we want to talk about today in our episode. We just wanted to talk about, things we do to for the other person. And since Mother's Day is coming up, I thought it'd be really funny to tell you guys a true story about how I asked Sam for this gift that is so incredibly hard for him to give because maybe you could talk more about why it's hard, but I said, can you please help me remodel your shop? He has this workshop downstairs where all his tools are and stains and paints, and it's supposed to be a workshop, but for I don't know how many years we've lived here, 5 years that we've lived in this house, it's never really been managed, or it's never looked like a shop. It's looked like a place where just stuff collects. And it's always bothered me, but then I'm okay, we don't have time. It's never been the right time. And so this year I was I want my Pinterest dreams to come true. I want to make this area, and he's rolling his eyes right now. And I want this area to look like a place where we can teach our kids how to use your tools, because Sam's a carpenter, if you guys don't know that. and he builds beautiful houses and does amazing remodels. But when he comes home, like, working on our house is the last thing he wants to do. Sorry, our children are upstairs. And so I said, maybe for Mother's Day, this could be like my gift, that he will make my Pinterest dreams come true, make this like craft workshop area for me and the kids and himself, and then stuff happened. Stuff happened. I've been thinking about a long time, like, how do I ask him for this? Because I know that he's not going to want to do this, and it's going to be a fight, because in the past it would have been a fight. So, yeah.
I think, okay.
So what was your reaction after I asked you?
I was like, oh gosh, no, I don't know. I knew it was coming. Something like this would be coming.
Why is it so hard for you to want to work on your house and do something for me that's like Pinteresty?
Well, okay, first off, I guess in my profession, when you do it as your profession all of the time and you're always working on stuff, sometimes it's hard to come home and then want to do more work on, what you're trying with, of the same nature that you already did all day. And so it's very hard for me to do that. And I'm not a big Pinterest fan because a lot of that stuff isn't real. It's all staged. And sometimes it's hard for me sometimes to want to do it because it's very rare for me to be able to not be in that work mode.
Yeah.
It's hard for me. And there's probably other guys out there. I mean, there's probably other couples some probably have the same disagreements. I know some guys that don't do what I do, don't build houses, and they love to work on stuff at their house. And I'm like, good for you, but a lot of times they work in an office or something like that. For me, it's like, I sometimes just want to be off. And I understand I'm trying to work on doing my best to give you your love languages. And so that's why I'm trying to do the shop thing.
Well, it was like, mainly I wanted to partner with you on it. Like, yes. I tell you all the time, like, I wish we could be like Chip and Joanna Gaines, and you like hate that. And I'm like, but I'm creative and I like to like create things and make things beautiful, and we just like end up butting heads. And
yes,
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's just you being stubborn, but you said something interesting this week because I triggered you.
Yes.
And I had no clue that I triggered you. I like triggered like a deep wound in him. And since we are learning the Enneagram, which we will go into further detail on another episode, we really want to have Sarah from Enneagram and Coffee on. And so that might happen. But we're not Enneagram experts yet, but it has been a total revolutionary tool in our marriage to use to like have more empathy for each other, to understand each other a little bit better, how we both see the world. And I guess as Sam's a 1 who is this like reformer type perfectionist, always trying to make things better, never can just relax. Like, me asking him to do this huge job totally triggered him. Mm-hmm. That's why.
Well, and I think for any people who don't know what the Enneagram is, and I know it's getting more popular, and you'll probably see stuff on social media and all kinds of different things. It's a really great tool. It's a personality test, and there's 9 types of personalities.
Yes. And
you fall within usually one that is most dominant. You can have multiple personality types, but there's usually one that comes through.
Yeah.
And I think we took it in December. I think it was December.
I did it before Christmas.
I did it before Christmas. Incredibly helpful for me to better understand my wife and her personality. so that maybe I get triggered every once in a while. But
I would like to know, I think it helped you understand yourself a lot better.
Oh,
More
yes.
than anything, you understand yourself better.
So as in my personality type as a 1, like that's what it is. A lot of the cyclical patterns of thought process and a lot of those things that can kind of hold you up, what it does is it gives you a tool to kind of go, oh, this is when I'm unhealthy, I'm being this way. If I'm being healthy, I am being this way. Mm-hmm. And more so than a lot of the other, because we've all taken the Myers-Briggs and some of those, the test definitely helped me see areas that when I'm not being, when I'm under stress or something, I revert to, and then I can better see that more quickly and instead of letting that drag it out and take it out on my wife and kids.
Huh. That's a really good explanation, yeah. Yeah, it's helped us to shorten up the arguments and things like that.
And I think because in the past, because of our personality types, and every couple's different. Every couple's different. But in the past, it would take us a lot longer to reconnect.
Yeah.
It could be days before we would be back, working together or even just communicating in the best way.
So I felt you came home Monday in like the worst mood ever, and I was like, "Wow, what happened? Something must have happened at work." And you were like, "I don't even know. I don't want to talk about it. I just need to stop listening to podcasts about bettering myself and all this stuff." And I was like, "Whoa, okay, he is definitely unhealthy right now."
Yep.
You couldn't even put words to it, so I was like, okay, I know that as a man, sometimes he can't access his emotions very well or label them very well until like a day after.
Yep.
And I think it took you like 2 days, and you finally said, and that was after like a few snarky comments, and I was like, ouch, that hurt, like, and I was like, whoa, like, what did I do? And then finally you were like, you triggered me. And I guess I had triggered some past emotions or thoughts that he has had about himself being just like this taskmaster, workhorse, like in order to receive love. So why don't you go into that? Where does that come from? Like as a 1, someone that is driven to like constantly perfect or reform or...
Well, I think like as a 1 in my personality, I feel like it's very much my personality in that I feel like everything is, I can never relax until I get the next thing done. So it's like, get the laundry done, get the dinner made, clean up dinner, get it all done, and like get everyone to bed, and then I can like take like 5 minutes or 10 minutes just to feel that free. I think what it is when you're in my personality, it's like you never feel like you're done. And when you get to feel like you're done, it's amazing. Like, it's very hard, and it's hard to explain to other people. Like, it's like I sometimes feel like everything is just a long to-do list of like, okay, if I do this, then I can do that. If I can get this done, then I can, I can go surfing by myself, and I think I even told you, I was like, as in my personality, it feels like I'm always having to work to get free.
And I honor that. I see that. I respect that. But on the other receiving end, it feels then like we are just jobs and tasks, and then we're burdens. And so that's always been my insecurity. So then it was interesting him saying that, then instead of me being able to have like hold space for it right away, I tried to hold space. I was like, okay, wow, I'm really sorry I triggered you like that. And then I got ticked. Yes. I got ticked because I was like, I didn't mean to do that. And I was like, I know. You're in your unhealthy oneness. And I was ticked because I was like, I'm not a burden.
You're not.
I just felt so connected to you that I felt like I could ask you for this big ask. And I thought it'd be so fun to do together, and we're both gonna look back when it's done and be like, that was such a good idea. And like I painted this whole picture, and then like you got in your unhealthy space, and then I got in mine because I was like, I am never gonna be able to connect with you the way I want to, and you're always gonna push me, and you're always gonna give me pushback, and you're always gonna see me as someone I'm not, or not always, but like, you know, sometimes you see me as someone I'm not, being this taskmaster that's like, do this, do that, and I'm like, no, we just want to connect with you. We just want to enjoy your presence and not. And then on the side note, sometimes it really is hard to be married to a one in that sense that I always feel like I'm not doing enough because you're always working around me. And I'm like, gosh, I wish I could have done the laundry and I didn't. I know some women are probably like rolling their eyes because their husbands touch laundry. But it's hard because I can't keep up with you. And sometimes I want you to just relax.
And that's and in my personality, and if I'm always looking to improve, like how I do something.
We just woke up, so
third kid interrupting.
Third kid interrupted this one. So yeah, you were just saying that my response.
Yeah, and I think it's really hard. Like for my personalities, I'm always trying to improve something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, if I put the laundry in this time, then it will be done at this time. I'm always thinking very linear, and that can be really hard because when your mate or your spouse or your significant other is not of that mindset, it's very hard for your spouse to understand that part of you because it's just not in who they are. Mm-hmm. And I think doing the tests and doing the research, it helps me understand when I have been unhealthy and how I can better serve you and who you are.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, did it at all occur, like, when you were in your unhealthiness, like, were you able to see, like, okay, my wife's a 3, achieving things is really big for her, like, this is why it means so much to her, or... Yeah,
and I think it's hard because if there's certain deep wounds, like our deep
it's hard
wounds, it's hard to see it in the moment, and you know it's totally it's not fair to you, but it's like I have to figure it out and come around.
And it triggered then a deep wound in me.
Yes.
Which happened the day before we got married. Should we talk about it? I'm so okay with it now that we can talk about it. No. And I've forgiven you. I have forgiven you. I know.
So, just make it short.
I'll shorten it. Sam got scared the day before we got married over something stupid. It wasn't even my doing. Told himself, like, in his anxiety, like, oh, maybe she's not really the person that I thought she was. And called me the day before we got married, right before we were going into rehearsal, and was like, should we even do this? And I was like, what? Should we do this? What are you talking about? I was like, we're getting married tomorrow. And he was like, yeah, I was a mess. I was a puddle. I truly had to work through that in therapy after.
I still feel bad.
I
still feel bad.
Our therapist made sense. She made it make sense for me because she goes, Sam has anxiety. Sam is this way. I wish we would have had the Enneagram then.
Oh my gosh.
Then she would have been able to like help us see like that's what I want.
Had we did this, like had we taken the Enneagram test before we got married, oh my gosh, like
would have understood each other a lot better. But she said, you know, if there was any time for Sam to freak out, it'd be this time. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Okay, I get that. So, anyways, needless to say, we got married. We had a wonderful wedding day. It was like
it was gorgeous. We're still married. It's been over 9 years. We have 3 kids.
However, when you got triggered by me and then thought like, oh, she's just making me do this so that's the way I earn love, then it made me feel like that's not at all who I am.
I know.
And it triggered me back to that wound of like right before we got married. Then that's when I was like really hard to connect.
I understand.
Really hard to connect after we both triggered each other's wounds. So I guess what we could help people with is like how we reconnected again. I don't know. I think we just really started to listen to each other's.
Yeah, and I think what we're getting at is just to, if you're doing the work on yourself, to self-improve your who you are in your marriage, use every tool that you can find to help you. Like, use the Enneagram, go to therapy, and be open-minded, and be aware of some of these shortcomings. Like, we all have them. We all drag them into our relationships. And so what we're just saying is, like, if you can do the work, the quality of your life and your relationship is just so much better.
Yeah.
And you do it for your kids. You want to do it so that your kids grow up knowing that, hey, even though my parents didn't always agree on everything, at least they weren't screaming and yelling at each other and throwing stuff at each other.
Which we have screamed and yelled at each other.
Yes, we have. We've done that before.
I've never thrown anything at you.
No, I think you threw the sippy cup at the wall, but it wasn't at me. That was frustrating bedtime.
Yeah,
it was hilarious. You threw a big cup.
It dropped on my head, and I bet it hurt. Threw a sippy cup at the wall one night. Yeah, not my best parenting moment.
No children were harmed. No walls were harmed. I think
actually really impressed.
It was impressive. I was like, all right, that's good. Like,
okay, people are gonna be so confused. You're gonna be like, wait, what happened? Anyways, the moral of the story is, when you are in a fight with your spouse and you can pinpoint why each other is triggered or upset, and you can hold space for that person to, like, okay, I understand how that could be triggering. I understand that's a wound. I feel like then you're able to then you're able to reconnect better and then move on from it. So
yes.
we've moved on from the last week's disconnection, and
we're now connected.
We're now connected, and we're actually working on the shop.
Yes, we're cleaning stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the thing. It's harder than I thought.
It's so much harder. Trying to get anything done with 3 kids is incredibly difficult.
We need Mary Poppins to come help us do this shop so we can make it into Mom's Pinterest craft dreams. So, I know I'm trying to be realistic though, because I know it's true. I know not everything on Pinterest is real. And you being a craftsman, I understand. I'm giving you that, like, okay, you're gonna tell me what's doable. So,
yep.
Anyways, if you're listening to this still, thank you guys so much.
Rate and review us in iTunes. Give us a good rating.
Only 5 stars, please.
Just kidding.
Getting stuff done.
Yeah. And I think we should go out with that cry.
I think we need to go be some parents right now, but thank you guys for listening. Hopefully we will link in the description of this podcast the Enneagram test that we took.
And the resources that
There's
the books.
A couple books
that are really good.
They're really helpful right now for us. And what else, babe? How should we send this podcast episode?
Thank you guys for listening, and we appreciate your feedback. And share it with your friends, and we'll hopefully talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Hopefully that normalized some of the fights that you might encounter with your partner, and maybe added a little bit of hope if you currently feel disconnected, that you can reconnect, you can have empathy and hold space for your partner. And let me just explain holding space. Holding space is a really good term, but some people might not know what it really means. And holding space means that when someone is activated or emotional or hurt, you can sit and listen to that person without judging them or without taking on their pain. You can just be there for them. You can be a sounding board for them. You can be a safe place for them. And so in marriage, it's very good to be able to hold space for your partner's emotions. As you can see last week, Sam and I didn't do that very well, but we did reconnect, and then we were able to hold space for one another, for the fact that we're different people with different upbringings, different wounds. And so, yes, that hopefully that taught you guys a little bit about like how you can incorporate holding space and learning who each other is and accepting who each other is in life, and whether you take the Enneagram or not. Yes, hopefully it offered a little bit of help for you in that way. If you guys want to get a hold of us, you can email us. You can check out my website, chrissypowers.com. We are always open to hearing from you guys of what topics you want us to cover. I'm always on Instagram at Chrissy J. Powers. Send us a DM. We love hearing how these are affecting your life or enhancing your life, hopefully. Another quick thing I wanted to mention is that we are going to be a lot more intentional with our Patreon page. I think we only have 4 right now, but we're learning about it. And so I am going to start releasing 1 meditation a month on there for just our Patreons that are supporting us at $5.99 a month. So if you are at that tier, you will be getting a meditation that is at least 30 minutes long directly to you every month that is going to help you interpersonally. So thank you guys so much for considering being a Patreon of Sure Babe. And thank you as always for just being here. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.